Rashford dropping deep and going for goal.
Already a spectacular footballer, it wasn't just Marcus Rashford's excellence on the field that brought him attention. Still, in his very young 20s, he decided to allow his own experience of growing up in poverty to ignite an unprecedented campaign to combat food poverty, the very food poverty he himself had known so well. It would bring him direct contact with Downing Street. It was to result in nearly £200 million being directed at the problem. All this whilst continuing to excel on the football pitch. But today, he's widened his focus to centre on reading, a campaign to spark a love of books amongst those who've been deprived of the experience. He himself grew up in one of the toughest districts in Manchester. The child of a single mother, he experienced real hardship and deprivation amid his footballing success. He has allowed himself to retrieve and act upon what he knew as a child. When I met him, he'd just come off a training session with the rest of his teammates. I found him young, serious and thoughtful.
I just never seen reading as something to do. If I was in the house, I was just sleeping. I'd go home to sleep, and then I'd wake up, go to school, and then just be on the streets again. So reading was just never part of my schedule growing up. But now that I have read, I want to make sure that the next generation have the opportunity to read.
And that on the streets, as you put it, is really what is firing you up now, isn't it?
Yeah, basically. Like I know a lot of kids that are in similar positions to me. But if I can show them something where they can do something other than being on the streets, then whether they read it or not, it's up to them. But at least they have the opportunity to do it, and it's the opportunity that I didn't have when I was a kid.
You waited till you were 17 to discover the book that would turn you on.
Yeah.
What does the government have to do to change lives, to allow them to be receptive to what you were receptive to?
The government can make changes, but if everybody makes small changes every day, the government have to accomplish what the needs are of the communities, and that's the angle that I'm looking at, because you can have government change, and how long it lasts you never know, but if you change the mindset of the public, you change the way that they do things, and then you have the government supporting you as well, you can create sustainable change. And for me, that's what's needed, because there's too many inconsistencies in certain areas, where kids grow up, and it just sets them off on a pathway that's like that for the rest of their lives. The problem I seen was people from where I grew up, they accept it, and they think that they're okay with it being their lives forever, because they don't know anything different.
Why did you know anything different?
Because of football. Without football, I would probably be the same. But with football, I got the opportunity to travel to different places, different cultures, and just experience things that people where I'm from, they don't get the opportunity to experience. So I feel like just doing what I'm doing is allowing them to have an insight.
Marcus, you're 23, I'm 73. What are you going to do the next 50 years of your life?
I don't know. I just take it day by day. I have things short term that I want to achieve. Obviously, I'm concentrated on my football career, and then whatever I can do to help the public at the same time, I will.
What does Mum think of it?
My mum loves it, to be fair. She's the one that's lived through it. Where I learn these things from that I'm trying to change is when I used to go to like training and stuff. I used to have to travel through the city centre. So we used to catch one bus, and I was with my mum. Then we would see like homeless people, people that don't have food and stuff like that. So everything that I'm doing, she's been next to me.
But did you ever think you'd get the ear of the Prime Minister?
No, definitely not. Them things are like so far like beyond your reach in your head. Like as a kid, I know that a lot of people watch football, so they're more likely to support what you're doing, and it's easier to make change.
People wanted you to be honoured for what you've done in combating food poverty. Isn't it odd that the only way we can reward you, in a sense, is with reference to the British Empire, the MBE.
Yeah, for me, the MBE is not the important, factor of what I'm trying to do. The real win for me is to see, families that were struggling, not struggling anymore. And I think the recognition of the MBE, actually, it helped more people understand and give them the opportunity to learn about what I'm doing.
Here's a question at last about football. At the end of the cup final, Leicester players and fans hugged the club's owners. Do you envy clubs that have that sort of relationship with their owners?
It's difficult for me to speak on, but for me as a player, what's important is that we play for the badge. What goes on above us, of course it affects us, but as a player you're paid to do your best for the club, and I think we have to, in difficult moments, we have to remain the same. Whether it's a good moment or a bad moment, as a player you have to remain professional, and you have to sort of try and ignore what's going on the outside, because so many things happen on the outside of a massive club like Man United. So it's not easy.
It's a long time ahead, but what do you think you might do after football?
Everyone always asks me this question, but I don't know. I don't know what.
Would you go into politics?
No, I've said from the beginning, I don't know anything about politics. If somebody needs help, if you're in a position to help them, you should help them. But that's just the way I look at things. But after football, I don't know.
Marcus Rashford, thank you very much for talking to us.
No problem.